Yes, so this week we're working through the outstanding user interfaces with Shiny Book as part of a book club, the R4 Data Science Slack community. For anyone watching along on YouTube, we we do run these book clubs on various topics, and you're welcome to join and stuff. So yeah, try and find the link for the Slack community and come along. This week, Oluwafemi's taking us through chapter 9 of the book, which is about theming Shiny apps with the bslib package, which provides access to Bootstrap, more recent Bootstrap versions than you get in the default R Shiny apps. Yes, so I'll hand over to you, Oluwafemi, if you'd like to take over.
Yeah, thank you very much, Rosh, for the introduction. I think in the previous last two meetings, we look at how we can style our Shiny app using both SAS and Fresh. For today's discussion, I'll be taking us through how we can use the bslib package, in which we can use it in styling the UI of our Shiny app. The bslib package is a package that was developed by our studio, and the process in which we can use this package to style our Shiny app it is so robust because the workflow is quite different from using the SAS or the Fresh approach. We can just easily using the bs_theme function, in which we can just style the Shiny app. This first of all, they do explain in the book that we need to first of all install the package either through Cran, which is a stable version of the package, or through GitHub, which is the current development of the package. Then they do explain that we need to load the library, the bslib, and also the Magritte R, because I'll be using the Magritte R pipe. So there is this cool package, which is the OSUI code, where we were calling the NAS_theme function from our namespace. And within this, we can use this bs_theme preview, where we can just preview. We can use it to preview all the necessary theme components in our Shiny app. So we have this. We just say library bslib, the Magritte R. Then we can just easily we can preview bs_theme preview. I don't know, Rosh, if you can see the app. Is the app showing up? Hello?
No, the app's not showing up. All I've got is your RStudio window. You might have to.
Okay, maybe let me
reshare the whole screen if possible.
Okay, there's no problem. Oops. Okay, I seen this. No. Okay. Okay, I think the app is up now. Yes, so this is just the default app. It has a theme, which is theme demo. We have some inputs, the plots. These are the various tab panel in which we have in the app. We have the input panel. This is the slider inputs, where we can easily make adjustments to the app. But the overall theme is, this is the default look of the app. But if we go further, we can choose several theme components, and the more as we choose this theme component, automatically we are updating the code. The code is updating in real time. We get real-time updates to this Shiny app, so we can change the background color. For now, the background color is this. This is for the 4 the foreground color of the Shiny app, which is this color. And they are all using the X color code. This is for accent color. The secondary color of the, then for if there are any success as the users, they are interacting with the app, is going to show this default this color. Then these are the fonts. I think the default font in which this is using the Google font. That is the default font in which the app is using. But there are some other options in which they also specify in the app. I think that is all I have. But here we have some input value. This is the selectized input, where the users can select a specific input. They are using selectized inputs where they set multiple to be true. That means the user can select more than one input as they are interacting with this app, and this app is going to get automatic update, which is in real time. Okay, so I think that is basically what I have for this part. There are also the plots section, but for this default plot section, the bslib, since we cannot use it to customize this visual, so maybe in the subsequent section in which I'll present, I will show how we can use the thematic package, where we can use it to style the outputs of these plots. Okay, I think that is all I got. I don't know if Russia, you can jump in if there is any one or two things you want to comment about this.
So this is you're using this is like a kind of a theming tool provided by bslib, isn't it?
Yes.
And does it give you the option to change the version of Bootstrap that you're using when you initiate this app?
It is not. I think for the version of the Bootstrap, I think the default is always Bootstrap 4. Is
okay.
Bootstrap 4. I think there is no option for me to change that. But in the subsequent discussion, we'll see how we can update. We can use the update function to see how we can update that theme to maybe Bootstrap 4 or Bootstrap 5.
Okay, cool. And with this, once you've sort of defined your theme in this app, is there a way to kind of download what arguments you would need to use to generate the appropriate theme for your you know, if you designed a color scheme or whatever for your app using this tool, would you then be able to extract the arguments for the Bootstrap theming function that you could then use in a separate app?
Oh, I think yes. I think as we are interacting with this app, we are selecting several components, and this we are getting instant updates. Maybe when we stop the session, when we stop the RStudio, I think it will pop up all the various code. We'll see everything in our R console. I think we will get the output in the R console, where we can copy that. I think we can put that in our script which we can use it to develop the UI of the app. We can now use that to style the UI component of the app based on what's
cool. Right. Yeah. So see in the book that there's a function BS theme that you would use to kind of define the the settings that you'd use, the fonts and the colors and things.
Yes.
So you would typically, in using that, you would just copy down the values that are in this little theming tool into that, and then right, cool. Cool. So, is that that the output from BS theme, is that something that you would then construct a CSS file from, that you send out with your app, or would you use it directly in the UI function of a Shiny app, the BS theme object?
For me, I used to do it, I can just extract those outputs, create my theming function, then I call that theming function in the UI.
Right. Okay.
Or the Shiny app. I think that is how I used to work. That is my own workflow, but I don't know if there are other better approach to that.
Okay. It's quite a neat approach as a Shiny developer, at least, to be able to embed it in your UI function. It seems quite sensible to have the R code for generating your theme in the UI function, rather than having to have a kind of workflow whereby you build the appropriate CSS files and stuff. Arthur, hi. Sorry, I hadn't noticed you'd come in the room.
I just slipped in. Sorry to be late.
Yeah, no problem. No problem.
Welcome.
Cool. So, so once you've got this Bootstrap theming function in place, is it sorry, is it quite easy to add? Is it relatively easy to access kind of all of Bootstrap's API, or is it only like a kind of subset of things that Bootstrap provides that are available to you as a Shiny developer using the Bootstrap lib? It's okay if you have. I don't know either.
Okay, I think if that is all, I think can I proceed to others?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, let me stop this and go back. Push this. Okay, so we have seen how we can use the BS theme preview to preview the default theme in Shiny app, but they also discuss in the book about the bslib, that there are several other customization in which we can do within the BS underscore theme function. We can specify the background color to modify the background color of the user interface of our Shiny app. The foreground color, we can give an X color code to represent that. We can change the default theme colors, which is always called the accent. So we can modify all these. We can modify all these components in the Shiny app. But I think for the fonts, the default fonts in which the bslib they always they use the Google fonts. Always make sure that these fonts are captured. We also the font face and the fonts link. We can all modify these components within these BS underscore theme functions, just as what they describe. But for the Bootstrap version, there are several versions of Bootstrap. We have Bootstrap 3. We have Bootstrap 4, Bootstrap 5. I think the default version is always Bootstrap 4, but they do explain in the book that it's always better that we specify the version of the Bootstrap in which we want to use to style our Shiny app, so that in case there are any breaking changes, we can easily know where to fix that. So for the BS team function within the Shiny app, so these are all the code in which we can pass. But the default is always set. They set the foreground color, the boost watch, full ground color, parameter, all these value they set null. So we as a user that are using this package to style our Shiny app, and we need to give a value to that based on what we desire to see in our Shiny app. Okay, I think Otto posted something on the chat. Okay, thank you very much for that. Okay, so we can also, they also explain in the book that we can create our own default theme. Using this BS_ theme, then the default version, we said we want to set it to version 4, and we name that theme as simple BS4 theme. I can just copy this and plug it in my RStudio. BS4 theme. So we call that simple BS4 theme, where I can call simple BS4 theme. And this is just going to show us all the other SaaS bundle information about the app. It's going to give us all the information. So it's SaaS bundle routes, import from app directory. So it's just going to show us HTML dependency, which is a list of one, the name, which is BS3 components. But in the book, when they were rendering the book, I think they do explain that they have to trim out some certain parts and leave the only ones that are relevant for. But how do we, when we as a developer, how are we going to update our team? Maybe we have developed a Shiny app, we have a default team, then we want to update that team. There are two important functions. Here we have the BS_remove function, which we can use to remove a certain team and add another team to the UI. There is also the BS team update, which they do discuss. We can use this also to update the team in our user interface of the Shiny app. But for this example, they make use of the BS remove function, where they call the team in which we have defined above, which is the simple BS4 team. Then they want to add this other one. They want to update it to use _toast. So once we do that, I can grab that and plug it in here in my RStudio. So this is we have removed that team. We can see simple BS4 team. We can now see that we have updated this team, which is going to update to the new, these are the SaaS bundle style. So in this other parts of the book, they were using the BS team updates to update the simple BS4 team that we created earlier on. Then here they are using HTML tools, pass CSS color. So the color is light blue, and they are saving it, storing it in a new variable called primary. So they are using this HTML tools package to generate the X color code for light blue. So they want to use that for the primary color in the user interface of a Shiny app. So how do we do that? We can just see what this function does. So once we call this simple BS4 team, okay, so once we do that, we can say we have HTML tools, okay, pass CSS color. So I can just give any color. I can say red. So once I pass the CSS color of red, then this HTML tool is going to generate the X color code for red. So once I say HTML tools pass CSS colors as red, so it's going to give us, and this is the X color code for red. So when I say green, so it's just going to generate the X color code for green. When I say orange, it's just going to give us, this is the X color code for orange, so we can now use this in our UI of the Shiny app. So, but here they gave an example where they use the HTML tools, pass CSS color, the color they pass in is blue, and this generates the X color code for blue. Then here we have HTML tools, pass CSS color of Gainsborough. So this is the X color code for Gainsborough. And I find this function is very useful. It's not only useful in the context of Shiny, we can also use it with ggplot2. Maybe we want to get X color code for a certain color and we do not know, we can just use the HTML tools and we are going to get the X color code for that. Then we can use it to style the UI of our Shiny app. So I don't know if there are any comments or further contribution on this updates, a theming section before I proceed to the next part.
I think that's quite useful. The being able to convert from the because there's two. CSS has its own set of named colors, and R has its own set of named colors, and they're not necessarily the same. So light blue in CSS isn't necessarily the light blue that you'd get in R when you. So it's quite nice to be able to convert from the CSS version of a color to something that you could then use in your charts and graphs and stuff. Yeah, that was quite neat.
Okay, thank
cool.
you.
Thank you.
Okay, for the next part is about preview. How can we preview a theme? So we first, in the book, they first create this theme, which is called bslib neon theme. They were using the BS theme function. So they specify the version, which is Bootstrap 4. They specify the background color of this, the full ground color, the primary, the secondary, success, the info, warning, head fonts, and also the code font. So once I grab this code and go back to my RStudio, I place this here so I can run that. So we can see BS on the bslib neon theme. This is the theme in which I have just created. So this is the source code for the theme I have just created. So we need to preview this theme. So how do we do that? So I just copy this and I come back here, paste, and I run this, which is going to load this up, which is going to load this. So once we preview that, it's just going to show that this is theme demo, which is a demo theme. Is similar to the example I showed earlier on, but this one we can see the background color. We have specified that already in the BS theme, BS underscore theme. We have specified all those inputs. So these are for the input parameter. These are the selectized inputs. This is selectized input multiple. We can select more than one. The user can select more than one input here because we set multiple to be true. This one, the user can only select one input. Once they select is there. So here we can select more than one input, and as we are selecting, we can see that we are getting updates in the app here For the date inputs, we can select a specific date. So we are getting instant, we are getting instant updates in the Shiny app. Then for the plots, so once I click on the plots, we can see the plot is this, but for this plot, the outputs, I think they have style, the ggplot2, we can see the style. They're using dark theme here. Then for the tables, we can also look at the tables. So these are the table in the Shiny app. So these are for the notifications. So this is the color for any warning that we are getting in the app. If there are any error notifications, so this is the default color in which we are going to see in the Shiny app. This one is for message notification. This is for default. This is modal. Then for the fonts, we can see there are several fonts in which we can pick. And also there are some several options. So this is for the background. This is the background secondary. This is the default. This is for success. This is the info, and this is for warning. So let me go back to this. So go back, share. Okay, so I can just close this. Okay. So this is the same thing I showed earlier on. This one is in the book. They also discuss about the live theming. So we can have the same, this is the UI of the Shiny app. They have some tab set panel in which they have specified, but here, instead of them to start the app using Shiny app, where they can Shiny app, where they will specify the UI and the server, but they are using this function that is coming from the bslib, which is the run with themer function. Within that, they are wrapping the Shiny app. Then they specify the UI and the server of the Shiny app. So once we do this, as we are interacting with this app, we select several any components. We can easily update. We can easily update. We can easily update this app. We can get automatic updates on this app in real time. And I think this was very much. I find it very very useful, because as a user, we are interacting with the app. We select any components. Maybe we say foreground color should be this, or the theme should be this. Then we get automatic updates on the app in real time. Okay, it's like Ross have something.
Yeah, it's really neat that I imagine that's quite useful if you're sitting with clients who've got an app that they, you know, so that you can kind of match the actual app, the style of it to what they want it to look like. I imagine that would be quite a quick way of turning around styling something. That's quite a neat tool. I didn't know about Run with Thema. It's cool. Thanks.
Okay, this one is a low-level customization. I think they didn't explain that we can add new variable. We can add new variable to our existing variables. So like here we have this custom bash theme. So we want to create a custom bash theme in the Shiny app. So, but here we are still using the BS theme. They specify the version that is Bootstrap 4, the success color. So for the success, they are generating the X color code, which is light green. They want to generate that X color code, and they are saving in this object called success. Then here we are just adding BS add variable. So this is the way we can add a new variable to the UI of our Shiny app. So here we are using the batch font. It should be 900. The batch font size should be 100%. Then you are specifying the batch padding Y should be 0.5 em. Then the X should be 0.8. The radius should be 1 rem. Then it will be then in the actual code we can use they now use the HTML tools. They now use the HTML tools to generate this code where we have my badge, where we have class of badge success, which is 1. Then we have a new function, which is named preview badge to preview the given bar, which is a function. And this function has just one argument, which is the theme, but the default theme in that is set to null. Then they are using the if statement, which is if this is interactive, then tag if is.null, then return the theme. Otherwise, use BS theme version 4. Else they use theme browsable tags body, then they specify the breaks. Then they use BS theme dependency, which is theme, then they end with the badge. So then for us to now see the badge, we need to use the preview_badge function, where we now call the custom badge. So when we call the custom badge within the preview_badge function, we'll get the output of the badge. But in the context of Shiny, we will get the badge in the Shiny app. The badge will pop up in the Shiny app. Okay, so I think that is that for, I don't know if there are any comments on these add new variables in the Shiny app, on how we can add variables.
Not from me. Arthur, do you have any?
No, I was just going to say, I think that's where the vignette I linked comes in. I actually, as we were presenting, I was looking up and I found these variables in the searchable table they have there. So, but still, it's a gigantic table. So I guess you really have to be kind of have some idea of what Bootstrap contains before you can like know what to search for, I guess. Like badges.
Yeah,
Okay.
I noticed a few kind of bits of terminology like toasts and badges throughout this that were new to me, and had to go away and search what they were actually kind of talking about. But yeah, I understand that.
Okay, so this part was talking about how we can import external rules in the UI of our Shiny app. So here we have this link, which is Windows 98 CDN. So we pass this with a paste 0 function. So we pass the we are passing this this CSS. We are attaching this CSS component. We are pasting alongside with this. But they do explain that we have the BS add rules to add a rules to the UI of the Shiny app, and these rules, it calls the SAS file under the hood. So we can have our theme, which is called the theme. Then we are adding our rules with the BS add rules, which we can use to specify our rules, which is we are using the sprint TF function. Then at import this, then we are passing in the the rules in which we are specified, which is Win98 CSS. So which is a new rules in which we are trying to add to our team. So how do we add that rule in our main team? So we have Windows gray, which is we are passing the X color code for Windows gray. So we want to create a Windows 98 team. Here we are still there. They still make use of the bs_team function because that is the only way we can create any team in the Shiny app. Then they said the version should be Bootstrap 4. Then they specify the background, the foreground, the primary, the warnings. Then they said the font size should be this, enable rounded force, and then they are adding the rules at the bottom of the line. They add in the rules where they were using the base function, which is the sprint TF. Then they say at imports. So this will ensure that we always import at imports, attach this, which is Win98 CSS. So in order for us to preview this in our app, then we need to use our Windows 98 team. And then we said we use the BS team preview. This is the way we can now preview. We can now use this to preview the team, which will now show us the team on which we have created. I don't know. Let's see the examples, how the team looks like. We have this, which is, oh, sorry, that app was still running. Windows gray, not fire. Okay.
I think the book should have added an animated GIF of Clippy that would have added a little flavor to the Windows 98 theme.
Okay, I think I did not copy this. Okay, so I still have some other, yeah. Okay. There is a team object. Where is it coming from? Oh.
I wonder if it's not needed, actually. I'm looking at the code in the book. I think maybe there's just like pseudo code for that block that includes theme, because they're showing the add rules part, and then they have the fully developed example below. So I think that theme is actually the Windows 98 theme that
Okay, I've seen it now. So I think we can call team. Okay, we can now use this to preview. We can now use this to preview the app. Okay, we can now use this to now preview the app. So here we can select a certain period to update over the 4 teams. So we can change this to this. So we get instance updates. I can say, no, I do not like this, use Minty. We get instant updates. So, but all this, as I'm interacting with this, is updating the CSS code. So I can have my plots, which will show me the plots. I can have my tables. This is my table. I can have some inputs. I can look at the plots. We can look at the fonts. Then the foreground color, I can just change it to this. Colors. Then fonts, I can change the default fonts. I can choose Times Sans Serif. So refresh. Okay. So, but as we are interacting with this app, I think we are getting updates. So I can pull this off a bit, look at the plots, look at the inputs, select inputs, I select this, multiple inputs, I select this. So as I am selecting, I am getting updates on this app, the UI part of the app. Okay, so I will just minimize this, stop the app, then go back to the notes. Okay. So I think this is the same app. So this one, they talk about the dynamic theming. So the dynamic theming, so how we can create functions in which we can toggle between one theme to another. We can do this using these theme toggle functions where we can toggle between one theme version to another. So how do we do that? They create a theme toggle function. This is the theme they are trying to create where we can click moving from one theme to another, which is a function. For this function, it has no arguments. So they have a div, HTML div, which is a class, which is a custom control, custom switch to switch between from one theme to another. Then we have tags, $, the inputs. This ID is the custom mode. Then the type is checkbox. The class is a custom control inputs. Then on click, we have HTML, Shiny set input value. So the default mode, I think it can be, is dark mode. Then we have documents, get element by ID, which is, we call the custom mode. Then the tags for the label, we should have custom mode. For custom mode, then the class should be custom control label. So the good part of this is that when the UI, we can now pass this into the Shiny app, which is the default theme we are using here is Bootstrap 4. Here we have the float page where we say theme is equals to what default, which is a default theme. Then we pass in that theme toggle function in which we have the function in which we created above. So it will help us to toggle from one theme to the other. Then we have the slider inputs, which is observation, number, the minimum, maximum, and also the value is 5. Then the plot outputs is this. Then for the server part of the code, we have some observe events because we need, as users, they are interacting with the app, we need to track those changes. So we have inputs, $, custom mode, because we need to toggle between from one theme to the other. Then we need to call the session, set current theme. Then if input should be custom mode, then we should use this theme, else we switch back to the default theme. So here we are using the reactive call. We call the plot out object. Since we are using reactive, we use the render plot. We pass in the histogram here, which is inputs, $, observation. So as the user are interacting with the app, then thematic _ shiny function, because they are using the thematic package to style the visual, because we cannot just style ggplot2 output because they are not HTML. So we need another package, which is the thematic package, in order for us to style the plot output. Then they now run the app with Shiny, calling both the UI and the server. So once we run that default app, the user can select toggle between from one theme to the other. You can just click this theme. Okay, I need this theme. They can click on it. If they are not satisfied with that, they can switch back to the light mode in the theme. So in this part, they talk about the custom elements. So the custom elements where we can specify different card elements to show in the Shiny app. So they can specify different custom grid card in which we can create in our Shiny app. So this supercard dependency, they create a function for calling the theme. Dependency name is supercard. The version is version 1. Then they are using the if statement is BS theme. Then we call the theme. Otherwise, use the BS dependency. Else, they use the HTML dependency. But all these style, they use the style sheet, which is the supercard CSS, because it's a CSS we are using it to style the Shiny app. But all this is grabbed from the OS UI code package, because this is a package which we'll be using for the book. So then they now call the supercard, which is a function, but this function has a ... mean that the user can specify several arguments can go into this function. So, but they are calling the div. The class is supercard, and also we are having the supercard. So this supercard function is very useful because we can now pass this to our team, which is we are trying to create a dark theme using this BS theme. The version is 4, and then we are updating that theme. We're using the BS theme update. The background color should be black. The foreground, we said it should be white, and then the primary should be orange. So we can now pass all this card component. We can pass it to the UI of the Shiny app using this float page. They pass in the theme toggle. Then I think they are passing in the line break. Then after the line break, they are passing the supercard function, which is a hello world. Then this part is for the server part of the code. Then if we start the app, we are going to see this HTML card. This is that we have been trying to create, but they do explain here that we can exploit the run with theme capabilities, which allow users to dynamically modify the current theme as shown in later figures. So we can use this run with theme, which is a function from the bslib. And this function is going to help us to update the UI, and we can get this update in real time. We can see these updates as they happen in real time, which is very, very useful. And this is the default load page, but they are still using the supercard, which is a hello world. Then the server, then they start the apps, which is just going to show the hello world. So they also discuss about conditional rendering in the book. So in this conditional rendering, they were toggling between the Bootstrap 3, Bootstrap 4, and the Bootstrap 5 version. So they are trying to see how they can see that we can iterate between these three versions of the Bootstrap, because looking at the Bootstrap 3, we have the span class, which is a badge. We have our closing div, which is 44. But when we look at Bootstrap 4, we have a new argument, which is a new, then they close the div. But this one is badge, which is badge secondary, which is a secondary badge for Bootstrap 5, which is similar to Bootstrap 4. I think we can see that the Bootstrap 4 and Bootstrap 5 code, I can say that they are the same, but in the Bootstrap 3 code, we can see that the difference between Bootstrap 3, 4, and 5, we can see that we have a clear difference in the UI of the Shiny app. Okay, so for the Bootstrap 3, I think this is the code in which we can use to preview it. For the Bootstrap 4, we can use this bs_team function where we specify the version of our Bootstrap should be 4, then bs batch, which is 42, then it should be primary. So the Bootstrap 5, which is similar to that of Bootstrap 4. So when we run that, we are going to get this for Bootstrap 3. This is for the Bootstrap 4, and this is Bootstrap 5. Bootstrap nav. So we can also have some navigation page in the Shiny app. But in this book, they discuss about adding an accordion outputs in the UI of the Shiny app, because there are some certain components that we want to add to the UI. Maybe they can take a lot of space. So in order for us to deal with this, they do explain that it's better we use the accordions drop down, in which as the user, they are interacting with the app. As they click on those accordion, then they are going to see the drop down will appear in the UI. So they can now select the specific component in which they are interested in the UI of that Shiny app. I think this an accordion drop down, they are very, very useful, in which the user, as they are interacting with the app, they can just easily click on certain parts, then you see the drop down. Then from the drop down, we now select the specific part in which we are interested in the app. But when I try running this code, I think there were some bugs in which, because some part of the accordion code, I was unable to run it when I was working through this. This is Bootstrap 5 accordion. This is the HTML code. I think there were some parts in which I was unable to run. So when I was going through, but this is the accordion function, which is taking 2 inputs. Then the accordion tag with its tag $, which this is calling the div. Then the class is accordion. Then ID, just like a ... Then the items, then we need to call the accordion tag to call our function, because there is a function we need to call it in order for us to be able to get this BS accordion function to work. Then they use the get team version, which is a function. This function takes no arguments. Then the team is bslib, but they are calling the bslib within the package namespace. But I saw this, they are using the dots. I don't know what the dots specify, because it's calling no function. Is it that the user can specify their own function? That is what is unclear to me. They wrote the dots.
I think the implication is that the dot bits are kind of placeholders for you to fill in what the solution should be. So this is like a guided exercise, and you're kind of expected to fill in the blanks there. So get theme version would use some function from bslib that can detect whether the app is using bslib, using Bootstrap 3, 4, or 5. I think, but yeah, I think the dots there. It's not our syntax. It's like go away and find out what functions should be used in this setting as part of an exercise.
Okay, because when I was going through the book, I was looking at the dot. I did not understand what the dot is doing, because they want to call a function within the namespace, but they are now ending with a dot. Okay, so thank you for that, Rosh. So, but we also have the BS accordion, which is also a function. This function takes 2 arguments. Then they're using the tag add render hook, which is accordion tag, which is a function that takes only 1 argument. Then the versions, okay, maybe here we need to specify the version of the Bootstrap, the version that we want to use. Then I said, if version is equals to this, then maybe if the version is equals to Bootstrap this, then the now says stop sprint here, then it should be accordion is not available for Bootstrap this version. So maybe that is that for the accordion. Then we now pass this to BS accordion item, which takes 2 input, which is title and content. Item body, which is tagged $. I think dot. We need to fill in that's with the. Then the class should be paste collapse. If active, then we have another dot. Then the tags should call all the div. And within the div, I think they did not pass any arguments there. Then the BS accordion item, which is also the same syntax, is a function that takes, I think it takes 3 arguments. Then they have the add render hook, which is version. We need to specify the version. Then they look at the tags, $, which is header 2, should be of class MB0. Then area expanded, which is to lower dot. Then we pass in the title. So in order for us to see the accordion, because in order for us to see the accordion, let me switch. In order for us, when I now follow through, but because of those weird dots in which I did not fill, that is why I see why I was unable to run this code that is going to add the accordion in the UI of the ShinyUI. But once I end the call, I will still try to fill those dots with specific value and see if I can get the accordion item in the UI of the ShinyUI to run. So, but we can just run it with the run with Tima then we wrap it with the Shiny app, then call the UI and server, which is going to run the app. We can now see that we now have the accordion drop-down elements in the UI of the Shiny app, but they do explain that we can look at the bslib, which has a vignet. They specify that for us to learn more. I think there is also the website and also the vignets that we can further learn more on how to customize the UI. I don't know if there are any comments. I think that is all I covered from the book. Thank you all.
Yeah, great. Thanks. Yeah, it seems a pretty detailed exercise at the end. I haven't actually worked through it yet, but I will try and have a look at it either this evening or tomorrow evening. No, it's brilliant. Thanks for taking us through the chapter. Arthur, do you have any questions or comments or anything?
No, nothing on my side. Just like you, I've got a big appetite to kind of work through some of the exercises at the end to have everything kind of crystallize in my mind.
Yeah. To be honest, I also think I really ought to kind of explore Bootstrap in a bit more detail itself. You know, the actual as a theming kind of tool, because most of the time I just use what Shiny provides, and there's probably a ton of things that
I was thinking the same thing, and like actually, Russ, if I guess if any of us finds sort of a like Bootstrap for Dummies, like first chapter, I think that'd be really nice because I don't know what components are in Bootstrap actually. It'd be nice. It'd be nice to have a sense of that.
Right. Great. Okay. So next week we shift gears again. So we're into the third section of the book next week on JavaScript, and I believe you're talking, aren't you, Arthur?
I think that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's the first chapter of the section on JavaScript for Shiny, it should be very interesting. I won't be in attendance. I may well be on a beach, but in the probably in howling winds of the UK. Yes, hopefully that'll go pretty well. I imagine there'll be quite a bit of interest in that region of the book, so I'll post a thread in a more general place in the R4 Data Science Slack in case anyone wants to join us to learn JavaScript for Shiny without necessarily working through the rest of the book. Okay, brilliant. Thanks again, Oluwafemi, and I shall see you soon. And okay, all right, I'll see you later.
All right, bye-bye.